Life has a way of making us comfortable right where we are. We settle in routines, get used to how things have always been, and before we know it, we stop expecting something greater. But can I tell you today, God is shifting you. He's moving things in your favor, opening new doors, aligning divine connections. The question is, are you ready? Too often, we resist the shift because it doesn't come the way we expect it. It may feel like doors are closing, people walking away, plans not working out. But what if that wasn't a setback? What if that was a setup, a divine repositioning to take you higher? See, when God is getting ready to take you to a new level, He will often stir things up. That discomfort you feel, the restlessness, the situations that don't make sense, it's not random. It's a sign that the shift is happening. But here's the key. You have to be willing to let go of where you are to step into where God is taking you. Not everyone can go with you. Some relationships, some mindsets, some old ways of thinking, they have to stay behind, because where God is taking you, you need a new level of faith, a new level of obedience. The shift is not about loss, it's about gain. God is preparing something far greater than what you can see right now. But you have to be in position. You have to trust Him, even when you don't understand. So I ask you again, are you ready? Because what's ahead is greater than what's behind. Your best days are still in front of you. Sometimes life takes us in directions we never expected. We make our plans, set our goals, and think we have everything figured out. Then suddenly a shift happens, something changes. Doors that were once wide open begin to close. The opportunities we depended on seem to slip away. The people we thought would always be there start to drift. And in that moment, we start to wonder, what is going on? Why is everything changing? It's easy to feel discouraged when things don't go the way we planned. When the path we were so sure of suddenly disappears, we might question if we did something wrong. Maybe we start to believe that we've missed our chance, that we're stuck, that somehow we've fallen behind. But what if what feels like an ending is actually the beginning of something greater? What if the changes happening around you are not meant to break you, but to build you? See, nothing in your life happens by accident. Every season, every turn, every unexpected moment is part of something much bigger. There is a purpose behind it all, even when you can't see it. Sometimes the things we hold on to the tightest are the very things that are keeping us from stepping into the next level. We get comfortable where we are, and without realizing it, we stop reaching for more. We stop believing that things can change. We stop expecting the best for our future, but when things begin to shift, it's not because you're being left behind, it's because you're being prepared for something new. You weren't meant to stay in the same place forever. There are greater things ahead, new doors waiting to be opened, new experiences that will stretch you and grow you into the person you were created to be. The challenge is, will you recognize it when it happens? Will you see beyond the discomfort and trust that something better is on the way? So often we resist change because it feels uncomfortable. It's human nature to want stability, to want things to stay familiar. But comfort is not where growth happens. If everything remained the same, if nothing ever changed, you would never discover your full potential. You wouldn't see the strength, resilience, and wisdom that is inside of you. You wouldn't develop the skills and the mindset needed to handle the blessings that are coming your way. Think about an eagle teaching its young to fly. At first, the nest is comfortable, a safe place high above the ground. The eaglet has everything it needs: protection, food, security. But there comes a time when the mother begins to stir the nest. She removes the soft padding, making it uncomfortable. She does this not to harm the eaglet, but to push it towards something greater. If the nest remained soft and comfortable, the eaglet would never take flight. It would never experience the full strength of its wings. In the same way, when things begin to shift in your life, it's not to harm you, it's not to punish you, it's to push you forward. That job that didn't work out, that relationship that ended, that unexpected turn, It may have been disappointing, but it's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of something greater. When you find yourself in a season of change, the most important thing you can do is trust the process. Don't fight against what's happening. Don't waste time trying to hold on to what's leaving. Instead, open your heart to what's ahead. Choose to believe that this transition is working for your good. Choose to see the opportunity in the challenge, because what feels like a loss now will often be the very thing that leads you to something better. One of the biggest mistakes we make is trying to go back to the way things were. That when things become uncertain, we try to return to what feels familiar. But there's a reason the past is behind you. There's a reason things have changed. You weren't meant to stay where you were. If you keep looking back, if you keep trying to force things to go back to the way they used to be, you'll miss what's right in front of you. Instead of resisting change, embrace it. Instead of seeing endings, start seeing new beginnings. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this preparing me for? Because when you shift your perspective, everything begins to make sense. You realize that what felt like rejection was actually redirection. What felt like a delay was actually divine timing. Think about the moments in your past where things didn't go the way you wanted. Maybe there was a time when you were hoping for a certain job, a certain opportunity, a certain outcome, but it didn't work out. At the time, you may have felt disappointed. You may have wondered why things didn't go your way. But now, looking back, you can see that what you thought was a loss was actually a blessing. What you thought was a setback was actually setting you up for something better. That's the power of trusting the process. When you choose to believe that everything is working for your good, you walk with confidence, even in uncertain seasons. You don't panic when things change. You don't allow fear to take over. Instead, you stand firm, knowing that something better is ahead. So if you're in a season of change right now, if things feel uncertain, if doors are closing, don't be discouraged. This is not the end. This is not a failure, it's a shift. It's a transition into something new. Open your heart, open your mind, and get ready for what's next. Because what's coming is greater than anything you're leaving behind. Life often brings us to moments where we feel unsettled, as if something is shifting beneath our feet. We may not be able to fully explain it, but deep inside we sense that things are changing. The same routine that once felt comfortable no longer satisfies. The places and people that used to bring us joy may now feel different. There is an internal stirring, a feeling that something more is ahead, yet at the same time, an uncertainty about what that could be. These moments can be challenging because they disrupt what is familiar. When things are predictable, we feel in control. We know what to expect. But when things begin to change, it can bring questions, doubts, and even a bit of fear. The natural response is often to resist, to try to hold on to the way things have been. But when this sense of unease comes, when something inside of you is telling you that you are no longer meant to stay where you are, it's not something to be afraid of. It's a sign that something greater is ahead. There are times in life when everything seems to be going well, yet deep inside, you feel like you are outgrowing your current situation. You may look around and think, I should be happy. Nothing is wrong. Why do I feel like I'm supposed to be somewhere else? That feeling isn't random. It's a signal that you are being prepared for something new. But here's the challenge. Most of the time, before you see the opportunity, before you understand the next step, you first feel the discomfort, you feel the stretching, you feel the shift before you see where it's leading. It's easy to mistake this feeling as something negative. Many people assume that when things become uncomfortable, it means something is wrong. But discomfort is not a sign that you are off track. It is often a sign that you are being moved towards something better. The challenge is to not resist it, not fight against it, but to recognize it for what it is, preparation. Think about a growing child. When they hit a growth spurt, they often experience aches and pains. Their body is stretching, adjusting to its new size. The discomfort isn't a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that growth is happening. If the body never stretched, never changed, it would never develop to its full potential. The same principle applies to life. when things become uncomfortable, when you feel the pressure increasing, when what once felt normal now feels limiting, it's not because you've done something wrong. It's because you are growing. You are outgrowing the old season, outgrowing old ways of thinking, outgrowing limitations that once held you back. The discomfort isn't there to stop you, it's there to push you forward. Many times, people miss the new things coming into their lives because they are too focused on the discomfort of change. They spend so much time complaining about how things feel different, how things aren't as easy as they used to be, that they don't realize it's a sign that something greater is ahead. Instead of embracing the shift, they try to return to what is familiar. But what was comfortable in one season may not be meant for the next. It's like a butterfly trying to stay inside the cocoon. The cocoon was once a safe place, a necessary place for transformation. But there comes a time when the cocoon is no longer a shelter, it becomes a limitation. If the butterfly never pushes against the walls, never struggles through the process of emerging, it will never fly. It wasn't meant to stay where it was. The discomfort of the struggle is what gives it the strength to soar. Maybe you are in a season right now where things feel uncertain. Perhaps you are being stretched in ways that you don't fully understand. You're being asked to step into new roles, to embrace new challenges, to let go of what is familiar. And it's uncomfortable. It doesn't make sense. But just because it's unfamiliar doesn't mean it's not right. Just because it's stretching you doesn't mean it's not leading you to something better. So often, the greatest opportunities come disguised as challenges. The moments that stretch us the most are often the ones that prepare us for the greatest blessings. If everything always stayed the same, if you never faced anything that made you uncomfortable, you would never step into the fullness of your potential. Think about the most successful people, the ones who have achieved great things, who have made an impact. They didn't get there by staying in their comfort zones. They had to push through moments of uncertainty. They had to trust the process, even when it didn't make sense. They had to embrace the stretching, the growing pains, the discomfort of change. And because they did, they stepped into a level of success, influence, and purpose they never could have imagined. You may not fully understand why things are shifting right now. You may not have all the answers. But if you feel that stirring inside, if you feel that sense that something more is ahead, don't ignore it. Don't push it away. Lean into it. Instead of seeing discomfort as something to fear, start seeing it as a sign that you are being positioned for something greater. One day you will look back on this moment and realize that what felt uncomfortable, what felt uncertain, was actually the moment when everything began to change for the better. It was the moment you were stretched in ways you didn't expect. The moment you were challenged to step outside of what was familiar. The moment you were prepared for something far greater than you could have imagined. So embrace this season. Don't resist the change. Don't fight the feeling that things are shifting. Instead, trust that something incredible is on the other side. Because what feels like a challenge today is often the very thing that will lead you to your greatest breakthrough. Life has a way of moving us forward whether we are ready or not. As we grow, as we change, and as we evolve, we begin to see that not everything or everyone can continue with us on the journey. There are seasons when we must make choices about what we will hold on to and what we will release. Sometimes these choices are made for us, and people naturally drift away. Other times, we are the ones who must make the decision to let go. It's not always easy to recognize when something or someone has served their purpose in our story. We become attached to the familiar. We hold on to relationships, habits, and mindsets simply because they have been with us for a long time. But just because something has been part of your life does not mean it is meant to be part of your future. The challenge is learning to discern what is still serving your growth and what is keeping you from moving forward. When you are moving towards something greater, not everything can remain the same. It is a natural part of growth. If you try to bring everything from your past into your future, you may find yourself weighed down, unable to fully step into what is ahead. You were never meant to carry everything with you. Some things are meant to be left behind so that you can become who you were always meant to be. One of the hardest parts of this process is realizing that not everyone will understand the direction you are going. There will be people who expect you to stay the same, to remain in the same place, thinking the same way, doing the same things. When you begin to grow, when you start thinking differently, dreaming bigger, stepping out in faith, some people won't be able to handle it. They may question your choices, try to hold you back, or even make you feel guilty for changing. But growth requires change. If you refuse to change because you are afraid of what others will think, you will remain stuck. You will live beneath your potential, always wondering what could have been if you had the courage to let go. It is important to understand that not everyone who started with you is meant to finish with you. Some people were only meant to be in your life for a season. They played a role, they taught you something, they helped you through a particular time, but they are not meant to go where you are going next. Trying to hold on to them when it is time to release them will only bring frustration. Think about a rocket preparing to launch. When it is on the ground, it is fully assembled with multiple stages attached to it. But as it rises higher and higher, different sections begin to break away. The first stage, which was necessary for takeoff, is no longer needed once a certain altitude is reached. If the rocket tried to hold on to every stage the entire journey, it would never make it into orbit. The weight would hold it down. Your journey is no different. There are things and people who are essential in getting you to where you are now. But as you go higher, some of them will fall away. It's not because they were bad. It's not because they did anything wrong. It's simply because they were part of one stage of your journey, not the entire mission. The difficulty in this is that change often comes with loss. Even when we know something is no longer right for us, letting go can still be painful. It may feel like you are losing a piece of yourself, but what if you are not losing something but making space for something better? What if by letting go, you are actually stepping into something greater? There are times when we hold on to things simply because they are familiar, not because they are good for us. We continue friendships that no longer bring us joy. We engage in habits that no longer serve us. We cling to ways of thinking that no longer align with where we are headed. And as long as we hold on to the old, we cannot fully embrace the new. If you are in a season where you feel torn between where you have been and where you are going, know that it is a natural part of the process. Growth requires separation. Transformation requires release. You cannot step into a new chapter while still trying to live in the last one. This is not about abandoning people or disregarding the past. It is about recognizing when something has run its course. It is about understanding that in order to become all that you were created to be, you have to make room for what is coming. Some relationships will naturally fade, and that's okay. Some opportunities will no longer fit where you are going, and that's okay too. You do not have to fight to hold on to what is leaving. Instead, trust that if something is meant for you, it will remain. If something is no longer serving your growth, it is okay to let it go. The key is to not let fear keep you from moving forward. Fear of the unknown, fear of being alone, fear of stepping out of your comfort zone. These are all real, but they should not control your decisions. Every great transition in life comes with uncertainty, but on the other side of that uncertainty is something greater than you could have imagined. So if you find yourself feeling stuck, if you sense that something or someone is no longer aligned with where you are headed, don't ignore it. Pay attention to what is shifting. Pay attention to what no longer feels right. Instead of resisting, embrace the possibility that this change is making room for something greater. You were never meant to stay the same forever. You were created to grow, to evolve, to step into new levels of purpose and destiny. And with every new level comes a shedding of the old. It may not always be easy, and it may not always feel good in the moment, but in the end, you will look back and realize that everything that left your life made space for something better. Trust the process. Trust that what is leaving is making way for what is coming. And most of all, trust that you are being prepared for something greater than you can even imagine. There are moments in life when the path ahead seems unclear. You sense that something is shifting, that change is happening, but you may not fully understand where it is leading. It's easy to feel hesitant, to want all the details before taking the next step. But life doesn't always give us the full picture. More often than not, we are required to move forward before we have all the answers. Uncertainty can be uncomfortable. It challenges our natural desire for control and predictability. When things are shifting, when we feel like we're in transition, our first instinct is to ask for clarity. We want to know exactly what's coming, how it will work out, and what steps to take. But sometimes clarity doesn't come until we start moving. The answers we seek often reveal themselves along the journey, not before it begins. Think about walking through fog. You can't see everything in the distance, but you can see the next step in front of you. As you take that step, more of the path becomes visible. But if you stand still, waiting for the entire path to be clear, you will remain stuck. The only way to see more is to move forward. This is why it is so important to act in faith, to trust that each step will lead you in the right direction. If you wait until you feel 100% ready, you may never move. If you wait until everything makes perfect sense, you may miss the opportunity altogether. Sometimes readiness isn't about having all the answers. It's about being willing to take the first step, even when things aren't fully clear. Many people hesitate because they don't feel qualified. They think, I don't have enough experience. I don't know enough. I'm not ready for this. But the truth is, no one ever feels fully ready for big changes. Growth happens in motion. You don't have to be perfect before you start. You just have to be willing to move forward, to take the opportunities that come your way, and to trust that as you step out, you will develop everything you need. Think about a baby learning to walk. They don't wait until they've mastered balance before they take their first step. They step out, they stumble, they try again. And with each attempt, they get stronger. The process of moving forward is what develops their ability to walk confidently. In the same way, the process of stepping into new things is what prepares you for success. Too often, people let fear of failure keep them from stepping into their next season. They think, what if I make a mistake? What if it doesn't work out? But what if the real risk is staying where you are? What if the real danger is not failing but never trying? Every successful person has faced moments of doubt, moments where they questioned if they were ready. But instead of letting fear hold them back, they took the step anyway. And because they moved forward, they grew into the person who could handle the challenges ahead. You may not feel ready, but that doesn't mean you're not capable. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. If you wait until you feel completely confident, you may miss what was meant for you. The opportunities that come your way are often bigger than you feel prepared for, but they wouldn't be in front of you if you weren't capable of handling them. It's easy to look at other people and think they were more prepared, that they had everything figured out. But behind every success story is a moment when that person had to step out without knowing all the details. They had to take a risk, to trust that what they needed would come as they move forward. There will be moments when you feel stretched, when you feel like you are in over your head. But those are the moments that lead to the greatest growth. The only way to reach new levels in life is to be willing to go beyond what is comfortable. If you only do what feels safe, you will stay in the same place. But if you are willing to step out, to embrace the unknown, you will discover strength and ability you never knew you had. The truth is, we never feel completely ready for the big things in life. But readiness isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to take the next step. It's about trusting that As you move forward, everything you need will come together. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, you may wait forever. There is never a perfect moment to step into something new, but there is a right moment, and that moment is when you feel the nudge, when you sense the shift, when you know deep down that it's time to move. Even if it feels scary, even if you don't have all the details, that's your sign to go. Think about the opportunities that have come your way. Have you been hesitant? Have you been waiting for more clarity before taking the next step? What if the clarity you are waiting for is on the other side of the step you are afraid to take? Life rewards those who are willing to move forward, even in uncertainty. When you step out in faith, doors open that you never expected. Resources appear that you didn't know existed. The right people come into your life at the right time. But none of that happens if you stay where you are. So don't let fear hold you back. Don't wait until you feel completely ready. If you feel the shift, if you sense that change is coming, take the step. Trust that everything you need will come as you move forward, because the only way to step into your next season is to move forward, even when you can't see the full picture. There are moments in life when you can sense that something is happening, even if you can't fully explain it. You feel the stirrings of change, the shifting of circumstances, the quiet whisper that tells you that things will not remain the same. It's in these moments that preparation becomes crucial. Preparation is not always about what you can see. Often, it's about what is happening beneath the surface. Just like a seed that is planted in the ground, change begins long before there is visible evidence. The roots grow downward before the plant ever breaks through the soil. If you judge the progress only by what you can see, you might think that nothing is happening. But deep in the soil, growth is taking place. In the same way, there are things happening in your life right now that may not be visible yet. The shift that you sense is not an illusion. It's not your imagination. Something is being prepared for you, and at the same time, you are being prepared for it. The question is, will you be ready when the moment comes? There are opportunities that require preparation before they arrive. If you wait until the door opens to start getting ready, you may miss it. Imagine an athlete who waits until the day of the competition to start training. They would not be prepared to seize the opportunity. Their success is determined by what they do in the unseen moments. The early morning runs, the late night practice sessions, the discipline when no one is watching. In the same way, your preparation happens in the quiet seasons, in the moments when no one is watching, when it seems like nothing is changing. These are the times when you build the habits, develop the mindset, and cultivate the character that will sustain you when the opportunity arrives. It is easy to become frustrated in seasons of waiting. You may feel ready for the next level, ready for the shift, ready for the doors to open. But what if the delay is not denial? What if it is preparation? What if the time of waiting is actually a time of equipping? Think about a tree that produces fruit. Before the branches are heavy with fruit, the roots have to be deep enough to sustain the weight. If the tree produces fruit too soon, before it is strong enough to hold it, the branches will break under the pressure. In the same way, if you receive something before you are prepared for it, it may feel more like a burden than a blessing. There are things you are meant to walk into, but they require you to be ready. Not just externally, but internally. Your mindset, your attitude, your faith, all of these things need to be in alignment so that when the shift happens, you don't just step into it, but you thrive in it. Think about the times when you have felt a stirring, a sense that change was coming. Did you prepare for it or did you hesitate? Sometimes we feel the shift, but we don't take action. We wait for everything to be perfect before we start getting ready. But the truth is, preparation begins before the opportunity arrives. This means taking steps now, even when you don't see the full picture. If you sense that growth is coming, what are you doing today to prepare for it? If you believe new doors will open, how are you getting ready for what's on the other side? Preparation is a demonstration of faith. It's saying, I may not see it yet, but I believe it's coming, so I will get ready now. When you prepare, you show that you trust what is ahead. You are positioning yourself to step into what has already been set in motion. Think about someone who is expecting company at their house. Long before the guests arrive, they start cleaning, organizing, and setting things in order. They don't wait until the knock on the door to begin. They prepare in advance because they know the arrival is certain. In the same way, you can prepare for what is coming by setting things in order in your life. What habits do you need to develop? What distractions do you need to remove? What skills do you need to sharpen? If you believe that something greater is ahead, then act like it. Start making space for it. Sometimes the preparation is internal. You may need to work on your mindset, on letting go of fear or doubt. You may need to develop resilience, to learn how to handle pressure, to grow in patience and wisdom. Other times the preparation is external. Developing skills, building relationships, taking steps toward the future you desire. Either way, the time of preparation is never wasted. Even if the shift doesn't happen as quickly as you expect, you're not losing time. You are building a foundation that will sustain you in the next season. When you prepare in advance, you are not caught off guard when the opportunity comes. You are not scrambling at the last minute trying to get ready. Instead, you step into the moment with confidence, knowing that you have done the work, knowing that you are prepared. Too often, people wait until the opportunity arrives before they start preparing. But by then, it may be too late. The key is to get ready now, even when you don't see the full picture. Even when you don't know exactly when or how the shift will happen, you can position yourself for it. What if the opportunity you've been waiting for is just around the corner? What if the shift is about to take place sooner than you expected? Will you be ready? Preparation is the difference between those who seize the moment and those who miss it. It's not about luck. It's about being ready when the door opens. If you know that something is shifting, don't just wait. Prepare. Get ready for what's coming. Make space for what is on the way, because when the moment arrives, you don't want to be wondering if you're ready. You want to step into it with confidence, knowing that you have done your part. So if you feel the shift, don't ignore it. Don't brush it off as just a passing thought. It's an invitation to prepare, to position yourself, to take action. Your preparation today determines your success tomorrow. Get ready, because the shift is coming. There comes a time when you sense that things are changing, that something is being set in motion beyond what you can see. You may not have all the details, but deep inside you know that life is shifting in a way that requires a response from you. At that moment, the most important thing you can do is embrace what is happening, step forward with boldness, and fully commit to what is ahead. One of the greatest obstacles to stepping into a new season is hesitation. People often hold back because they are unsure, afraid of making mistakes, or uncertain about what the future holds. They hesitate, analyzing every possibility, waiting for absolute certainty before they move. But in doing so, they risk missing what was meant for them. Imagine a runner at the starting line of a race. If they hesitate when the signal sounds, even for a second, they put themselves at a disadvantage. Their race has begun, the opportunity has arrived, but their hesitation keeps them from launching forward with full force. In the same way, when you sense a shift happening in your life, you cannot afford to hesitate. You must respond with confidence, with a willingness to fully embrace what is coming. Hesitation often comes from fear, the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure, the fear of stepping into something unfamiliar. But the truth is, growth always requires stepping into the unknown. Every breakthrough, every moment of progress happens when you push past hesitation and take action. Think about moments in your life when you knew you needed to make a change but hesitated. Maybe you felt the urge to step into a new opportunity but second-guessed yourself. Maybe you felt the pull to walk away from something that was no longer serving you but delayed the decision. In hindsight, you probably realized that hesitation didn't change the outcome, it only delayed it. The opportunity remained, but by waiting too long, you might have made the transition harder than it needed to be. Embracing what is happening means fully stepping into it, not halfway, not with one foot in and one foot out, but with complete commitment. When something is shifting, partial commitment will not get you where you need to go. You can't hold on to the past while trying to step into the future. You have to let go, trust, and fully embrace the new season. Think about a trapeze artist. They swing from one bar to another, but in order to grab onto the next bar, they must first let go of the one they are holding. If they hesitate, if they try to hold on to both at the same time, they will get stuck in the middle, unable to move forward. The only way to successfully transition is to release the old and reach for the new with confidence. In life, this means fully investing in what is ahead, not dwelling on what was left behind. It means making decisions with conviction, knowing that hesitation only prolongs the process. If you are stepping into something new, step into it completely. Give it your full energy, your full focus, your full dedication. One of the biggest mistakes people make is stepping into something new with an exit strategy in mind. They think, I'll try this, but if it doesn't work, I can always go back. That kind of thinking weakens commitment. When you give yourself too many options, when you leave a door open to retreat, you are not truly embracing the new season. You are holding on to the past just in case the future doesn't work out. But real progress requires boldness. It requires stepping forward with the mindset that there is no turning back. It means committing fully, trusting that you have what it takes, and believing that what is ahead is greater than what is behind. When you embrace change with confidence, you step into new opportunities with the right mindset. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, you see them as part of the journey. Instead of second-guessing every decision, you move forward with purpose. This doesn't mean everything will be easy. Change always comes with challenges. There will be moments of discomfort, times when you feel stretched beyond what you think you can handle. But that's how growth happens. If you embrace the process instead of resisting it, you will find that you are stronger, more capable, and more prepared than you ever imagined. It's important to remember that every major breakthrough requires a moment of decision. There is always a point where you have to decide whether you will step forward or shrink back. That moment determines everything. If you choose hesitation, you may find yourself stuck, watching opportunities pass by. But if you choose to embrace what is happening, you set yourself up for success. Think about great leaders, innovators, and achievers throughout history. None of them reached their full potential by holding back. They stepped forward with boldness, even when they didn't have all the answers. They embraced the shifts in their lives, took risks, and moved forward with unwavering commitment. You have that same ability within you. You are not meant to stay in the same place, to resist change, to shrink back in fear. You are meant to move forward, to embrace the shifts in your life, and to step into the future with confidence. So what is holding you back? Are you hesitating because of fear? Are you resisting because you don't have all the answers? What if the only thing standing between you and your breakthrough is the decision to fully embrace what is happening? The moment you let go of hesitation, the moment you stop questioning and start moving, everything begins to align. The doors that seem closed begin to open. The opportunities that seemed out of reach become attainable. The resources you need begin to appear, but none of that happens if you don't take the step. None of that happens if you hold back. You are being called into something greater. You are being positioned for something new. The shift is already happening. The only question is, will you embrace it? Will you step into it with boldness, with confidence, with full commitment? This is your moment. Don't let hesitation rob you of what is ahead. Step forward. Embrace what is happening. Give it everything you've got and watch as doors open, opportunities unfold, and you step into the life you were meant to live. Life is constantly shifting, moving us from one season to the next, preparing us for things we cannot yet see. When you feel that stirring, that sense that change is on the horizon, is not something to fear, it's something to embrace, because every shift is leading you toward greater purpose, greater growth, and greater fulfillment. But the question remains, are you ready? This isn't just about recognizing that something is happening, it's about responding to it. It's about stepping into the shift with faith, with boldness, and with full commitment. The opportunities ahead won't wait for hesitation, and the doors that are opening require you to be prepared, to trust the process, and to embrace the journey with confidence. You can't stay where you are and move forward at the same time. You can't hold on to the old while stepping into the new. You have to be willing to release, to grow, and to trust that what's ahead is greater than what's behind. When you understand that every delay, every challenge, every moment of waiting has been preparing you, you won't fear the shift, you'll welcome it. This is your moment to ride, your moment to believe that you are being positioned for something greater. Don't let doubt, fear, or hesitation hold you back. Get ready, stay expectant, move with confidence. Because when you align yourself with what's happening, when you prepare for it, embrace it, and fully commit to it, nothing can stop you from stepping into everything that was meant for you. The shift is happening. The question is, are you ready?